Hey everyone, and welcome to this month's new feature recap webinar. I'm going to give everyone about a minute to log in. It looks like people are dropping in. Real quick, just drop in the chat where you calling from. Actually, let's also confirm that it's working. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me right now? Perfect. Okay, people are dropping in the chat. Nebraska, Florida. All right, Jody. California. Oh man. How's the weather in California, Paula? It's cold. We've had a cold front come through. I'm here in Atlanta and it's now 30 degrees outside. Wisconsin, New Mexico, UK. Weather's beautiful in California. I'm jealous. Minnesota, Arizona. Okay, we've got about 30 people in the room right now. Wow, snow. Some people are already getting snow. Yeah, it's cold here in Atlanta. I think we have a freeze warning, which I don't know. Last week it was like 70 degrees outside. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this off. We're giving everyone a minute to get in. We'll have some people join in. This is recorded, and we will be sharing the recording on YouTube. I'll mention that again at the end of the webinar for people that missed the beginning. Today, we're going to walk through all the features we released last month in October. Also, I'm just going to ask some questions, get some feedback on the features. This is the chance to educate you guys on the new features released, but also for us to get feedback on, hey, can we do it a little bit better? What are some changes we should make? So let's go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So I first want to talk about something you guys might have already noticed inside the projects or work inside Financial Sense. So, and that is the apps section over here. So like right here, you can see I have my Smart Vault and QuickBooks Online app. So one big part of Financial Sense and our thesis of how we can help firms be more productive and empower their teams to get more work done is by giving them the ability to integrate all their apps, right? So because at the end of the day, not all your information needed to get work done will live in Financial Sense, right? There might be information in QuickBooks Online, your document management system like Smart Vault, Dropbox, Google Drive, SharePoint, OneDrive, right? Or it may live in like a tax system, right? If you're a tax firm, whatever that may be, Gusto for payroll, right? So at the end of the day, one thing we really want to do is integrate with all your apps so your team can access those apps seamlessly from Financial Sense. So that's what is the thesis of this app section. As your team is doing their work, right, they'll be able to see all the apps related to the work and they can open it. So for example, if my documents are in Smart Vault, I can click that and open those documents. Or maybe I need to open the QuickBooks Online files for the client. So for example, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to click here, and then it's going to take me to QuickBooks Online and that client's file, Adeline Collins. So I can see their information. So it just gives you and the team, even though that information not live in Financial Sense, it gives them the ability to access that information. So the work always still starts in Financial Sense, but if your team needs something, they know where to go and they can actually access that information. And as I mentioned, so right now this works with certain integrations, right? It works with our Smart Vault and QuickBooks Online integration. However, right now we're working on several other integrations with document management systems that you may use, like Google Drive, OneDrive, SharePoint, Dropbox, ShareFile, etc. Right? We'll be releasing those in the near future. So as we release those will actually be displayed here as well. And you will be able to like with Smart Vault and ShareFile, right? You have specific client folders, and we can auto match those. But with Google Drive, you can choose the specific folders that you and your team will be able to access from the project. So I'm really excited about that feature. Quick questions. Do you guys have questions about how this will work, right? Or drop it in the chat real quick. Is the integrations the same as apps? Yes, integrations is the same as apps. So these are the integrations. So what happens is like for Smart Vault, like let's say you integrate Smart Vault and link it with all your clients. that client folder is automatically going to show up, or this integration is automatically going to show up on all the work for that client. So you don't have to manually go and add it to each work item. It happens automatically. Same thing for QuickBooks Online. All your clients that are integrated to QuickBooks Online in our system, now this will automatically show up on all the work for that client. So you don't have to go and manually set it up. We wanted to automate that process. I'm actually kind of curious, was that a good idea? Do you want it to show up on all the work for that specific client? Are the integrations only available for... Correct. The integrations are only available for cloud-based software because we have to be able to connect with them, and we don't have integrations with any desktop apps or on-premise. So certain integrations are only available with certain levels of subscriptions. So like QuickBooks Online, your email integrations, those are available in the team plan. But if you want to integrate with like SmartVault, Zapier, or even like what's coming in the future, like OneDrive, Dropbox, etc., that will be part of the scale plan. I'm curious, are there any other integrations you guys would like to see, right, displayed in this app section, right? Because we have like Zapier, but that's not going to be displayed here because you're not accessing information from Zapier. You're just automating the movement of information or tasks. So like document management systems like Google Drive, OneDrive, SharePoint, right? Client files in QuickBooks, client files in tax systems or profiles, right? Is there any other apps you would like to see in this app section? Gusto, Listio, TaxDome. Okay, Listio is on the list. Gusto as well. Zoho Books, OCRM, SharePoint. Okay, Listio. Okay, great. So it looks share file. So it looks like a lot of the ones that you guys are mentioning are already dexed on our system, which is good. Zoho CRM. Okay, that's good to know. So really excited about this because again, this starts where we're going to go deeper in integration so you guys can actually have that hub, right? Even if the information doesn't live in our system, your team will be able to access it from the other systems very easily. So your team has a single source of truth, one place they can always go to know where to start work or find the information they need to do their work, whether it's in our system or not, keeping your firm more organized at scale. Charlene, I would reach out to the support team. It does have to be set up by the owner if you're integrating with QBO, unless the owner is given other levels of permission, ability to set up the QBO integration. And if you're not seeing it as the owner, I'll reach out to the support team to see why. There may be a permission issue. Okay, so let's go on to the next item. Next, I want to talk about placeholders in the emails triggered by tasks. So this was released in the previous month, in September. We released a feature where you have the ability to have task automations for triggering emails. So basically, when this, for example, this task is completed, it will now trigger an email to my client automatically. And the email can be customized. So when this task is completed, you can see it sent update client email for 1040s, and who to send it to. And you can preview what that email looks like. This is a test. It doesn't look as good, but we made an improvement to this feature this past month. So let me show you. So when you are creating the email to send to the client, right, it's completely customizable. So you have a lot of the templates here that we've created to send to clients. But if you go into manage, for example, you can now see that we always had the placeholders for like client name, contact name, project title, task title, accounting period, right? All those different things. But now you can also put those placeholders in the subject line of the emails. So this makes, again, more customized the automated emails at scale, right? So now as you send it, you can have that customization in the subject line as well. And if you guys didn't see, we're on the webinar last month or haven't learned about this feature, basically, again, what it does is when this task is completed, create financial reports and share with client, you can customize an email to automatically send. This is great for updating the client on the status, sending them information that they need to know for next steps in the process, It's great to get feedback. You could send a survey, schedule meetings, whatever it may be. And you can create templated, customized emails that you can apply to more than one task and use the placeholders to customize those email on a client-by-client basis. Now the placeholders are in the subject line, it provides another level of customization. See if we have a few questions. Those emails cannot go to internal staff. It's just to the contacts on the client, and you can choose which contacts it goes to. You do not have to have the email integration started to use this feature. There isn't anything that shows that the client opened the email yet. We don't have read receipts yet. Can the email pick up an attachment? Let me see. So this is fairly new. We are still making some improvements. You can put in hyperlinks to the email, but you cannot attach documents currently. But I will add that to the list. So you can link to like a Google document, for example. And Paul, this specific feature right here is on the scale plan. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so now we talked a little bit about an improvement we made to emails that can be triggered by tasks when they're completed and automatically sent to the client, and the improvement we made with the placeholders in the subject line. And if you have more questions about this, reach out to support. They have help documentation. They can walk you through it, how the feature works, if you want to learn more about it. Let's talk about one of the next improvements we released. This is one that's been requested a lot by our customers over the last few months, and it's the ability to customize the client notification email. So the client requests, right? Let's say when you create that request list that you want to send to your client every month, you want to customize what it can say. So now you can do that on the scale plan. So for example, we have the default template, right? This is what we've always sent by default to all your clients, but now you can customize it. So you can create let's say custom. This is a custom one I created, or we manage them. You can customize it to say whatever you want. It's similar to the setup of the emails triggered by tasks, right? You can put in placeholders. You can type whatever you want. You have the request list, and you can have as many different template options as you want and apply them to multiple clients. You can apply them to your templates, so you can use them at scale. It's very easy to do, and you can preview them, right? So once you've customized it, so like I wrote it here, you can preview it to see what it looks like. You can even add in links, which is really great. So you can provide a more tailored experience to your clients. Any questions about this feature? I know this was one that was really popular. It looks like we got some. I think Jenny, you had a question about sending emails triggered by tasks and templates. Is that correct? I believe. Yes, you do have that functionality inside the templates. Lori, that's a really good question. I'll get into the logos a little bit later. They can't be yet, but that will be soon. We're receiving claim that when a comment is added to a client task in a project, the auto generator does not specify. Entity be added to the auto generation emails. Chris, so the entity should be displayed in the email, right? So if we go to this, so actually, if you here, it should say, it should display the entity of the that it's related to here inside the client request by default. So they should be able to see the entity if you have it as the client's name, like the display name in our system, if that is the entity. If you're storing the entity somewhere else, I'd be interested to know where you are storing it, but it should be displayed for the clients to see what entity is for. And when they get in the portal, it'll also, if they have multiple entities, it will label all the entities by the request if there's multiple request items from many different entities from the client. This was a recent add within the last few weeks. I think it was actually added last month as well. So if this was something, I'm curious to know if this is something that was you recently experienced or something you experienced about like a month or two ago before we made that improvement. When emails are auto-generated either by the task automations or by the client notification, who does the email come from? So for all of these, the email does come from, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So the email does come from the no reply at mail.financialsense.com. However, we are working on adding the ability, if you have your email integration installed, to have it come from your personal email instead. So we are working on making that change, and that is something we think we can do in the future, Stephanie. So it's coming from your actual firm email versus our no reply email, but that's not available yet, just to reiterate. Lori, your question is, if I have a bunch of requests into a client and I add another request at the bottom of those later, will that show up on the client side automatically or generate another email to them? So if you have sent a client request already, and let's say it had 4 request items, you add a request item, a 5th one, they will get another email once the next request is triggered. So if it's every 3 days, you add it in the middle of that, it'll send it on the next 3 days. However, if they go into the portal before then, they will see that request item in the portal already. Okay. So that is a great feature that we're really excited about, more customization. If you guys have any feedback on that, please share it with our team in the support chat so we can make improvements to it, because it is a fairly new feature. Same with the emails triggered by tasks. Okay, so this is an exciting one. This is something small, but we found that a lot of firms were struggling with to help you clean up your workflows. So now, when you delete a client or mark a client, delete or mark a client inactive, it will automatically close and stop the recurrences for all their work. So what was happening before is that people were marking clients inactive or deleting them, and then they would have to go and find the work for that client and then close it out and stop the recurrences. Now that happens automatically. So like let me see if I can find an example. Who's someone I want to, let's do Happy Trees Inc., right? So you can see that there was work. Let me mark this client inactive. And depending on how much work there is, it may take, 30 seconds, but as you can see, it's already happened. All the work for Happy Trees Inc. is already closed. Now it's no longer being displayed. And it will stop the recurrences so it won't recur in the future. And if you go to closed, you should be able to find it. See, all the work that was just recently closed because I marked that client inactive. Any questions about that feature? What happens if we make them active again? That's a really good question. Let's see. Inactive. It restores their work. Now, I'm really curious to hear this. If you mark the client inactive, do you want that work to be restored again? Because we did find, so what I remember now how we set this up. if you mark a client inactive and you mark them active again within several days, because we have a lot of people that accidentally delete clients, that accidentally mark clients inactive, right? And they want to restore it and they want to get that work back. So if you make it active again within a few days, it will restore the work. But I think after a certain period of time, if you make them active again, it will not restore their work, because you don't want a lot of that old work, right? That was from a few months ago, because maybe you're starting at a new time. Is that how you guys would like that to work? I'm actually kind of curious, because we did discuss this a lot internally. Gonna work for 3 months. Okay, perfect. All right, that's good to see. So that is a great feature. Just make your guys' lives a little bit easier, right? It's not something you're going to see every day, but it helps keep everything up to date and current. Oh, there's some other question. Section of the client page only available. So there, Kathy, there is also an app section on the client page, but it is called integrations. It's a little confusing. So let's go. This goes to my next thing too, right? So you can also see the app section on the client page as well. It's called integrations. Now, which I'm gonna make a note real quick. Okay, so the next, well, it looks like there's a few questions that came in. Let's see. So I'm seeing, it looks like some mixed feelings, right? So just to reiterate, let's say you marked a client inactive and you had monthly bookkeeping work or payroll work that was recurring. 3 months later, they're now an active client, right? Do you want the work from 3 months ago to be restored, as well as all of the work in between, so to reactivate the recurrences to catch up? Or do you not want that to happen? And this is after an extended period of time, let's say after a month or two. Would you guys want all that past work to be restored that was closed when we marked them inactive automatically? Everyone is saying to restore. Okay, everyone wants the work to restore, but maybe an option because each client is different. Okay, let me take note of that. Okay, that's some good feedback. I will take that back to the team. Okay, Q&A. All right, so on to the next thing. This was a big one. So something a lot of people really loved, right, was our resources section we added here. Like, you have your app section now, so now you don't really need this to link to QuickBooks Online and Smart Vault because it's done automatically here. But maybe you want to link to a Google document. Maybe you want to link to some other systems, right? SOPs, videos, Loom videos, YouTube videos, right? You can do that here. People have been asking for us to add this to the client profile as well, and we did this last month. So now on the client profile, under the integration or above the integration section, you'll see resources. So you can link to YouTube videos, you can link to Loom videos, you can link to some Google Docs, you can really link to other folders too if you want. So now you have the ability to have this resources section on your client profile as well, which is a little different from the custom fields. So it's displayed right under custom fields. You have the resources and the integration section on the client profile. Okay. Any questions about that? No? Okay. So one other small little update you guys might have noticed. Now the client groups are automatically sorted in alphabetical order. This is something we saw get requested a lot, just to make them a little bit easier to find instead of just scrolling aimlessly to find the one you want to see. We do also plan to add a search functionality to make it even a little faster. Resources generated on the client's profile do not automatically show up on the resources for projects. And vice versa. I'm curious though, drop it in the chat. Does that make sense? If you add a resource to a client profile, should it automatically show up on all the projects for that client in the resources section? Let's see. We have a no, we have 2 yeses. So maybe that's an option. Yeah, it looks like adding the option. Okay. Let me add this feedback. Okay. Sort the clients by last name. There isn't a way to sort clients by last name yet. We are working on making that possible. Okay, so let's resume. Okay, next thing is Zapier. So we talked about Zapier a lot in our last reviews, but we're making improvements to make it easier. So Zapier, if you haven't heard of it, it lets you integrate with over 6,000 different apps. So you can more easily connect Financial Sense that we don't have a native built integration for. You can still connect Financial Sense with them in some way. So for example, client signs a proposal. It automatically creates that. It can automatically create that new client in Financial Sense, and maybe automatically create a client folder in OneDrive, Google Drive, SharePoint, or whatever document management system you do. So it can help keep your update client information across apps and automate admin work. Now, people like the idea of Zapier, but a lot of people, we realize, don't know how to use Zapier. So we recently released some Zapier templates for some common integrations that we know about. So if you go to like Financial Sense's profile on Zapier, you can now see these Zapier templates. So maybe you use Google Drive. Maybe you want to create a Google Drive folder for a client when a new client is created in Financial Sense automatically, or Dropbox, or maybe when someone signs a proposal in Anchor or Ignition, you want to create that new client in Financial Sense. You can only use a lot of these together, right? So someone signs a proposal in Anchor or Ignition, creates a client in Financial Sense, then creates it in Google Drive. These are already set up workflows that make it easier for you to set up those apps if you're interested in it, but maybe don't know how. And we're going to be putting these in different places in the app as well. So like, I'll show you an example. So maybe you want to set up a clients created in Financial Sense, create that client folder in Google Drive automatically. Try it out. What it'll do is then take you into Zapier, and it'll already have it all set up for you. All you have to do is log into your Financial Sense account, right? And then log into your Google Drive account and then select where you want that folder to be created. So it just makes it easier. But if you still have questions about this, you can reach out to our support team. They can walk you through it a little bit better. But this is just, again, to help you, if you're interested in Zapier, to actually use it without having to figure it out. Also, again, we do have this Zapier guide, just how it works, how to use it, and some of our examples. I'm going to drop that here in the chat just so you guys have that. So Chris, we do have the drag and drop functionality in the portal for client tasks. So when clients upload documents, they can drag and drop them in. You can also do that in Financial Sense on the file section. I just don't know if we may not have that. Let's check it out actually on the client task section. Let's see if it exists here. Nope. Okay, it's not here, but your clients have the ability to drag and drop. But it is here. You can drag and drop files here. So, Cara, you were asking if a client already exists in Financial Sense and they sign an ignition proposal, if you set up that Zapier automation, will there be a way uh, to avoid a duplicate? There is a way to do that with Zapier. That's going to be a little bit more advanced than the templates. So I would reach out to our support team and they can show you how to set it up. But you can have like a, if the client exists, do this. If it doesn't, do this function. And that gets me to, so that's a little bit about the Zapier improvements. Now let's really quickly, I want to talk about some of the things that are coming next. And that covers a point, Cara, that I see a lot of frustration around and that we're going to be releasing soon, is the ability to merge duplicate clients. So if you do have a duplicate client in Financial Sense, there will soon be ability to merge them instead of having to delete one or migrate the information over and delete the duplicate. Now, we want to take it a step further. We also are going to be adding a way to potentially identify duplicate clients. So maybe like you're on your client profile and there might be a warning up here that says you have 4 potential duplicate clients. View them and then merge them. And the reason we're doing this is because as we add more integrations to all your other apps and you're importing clients, connecting clients, we need a better way to potentially identify duplicates and prevent that from happening. And that's what this is going to allow us to do too. So we're really excited about that because we know the biggest frustration is we may integrate with your clients, but you want to make sure it doesn't create duplicates in our system. And we're creating a system that can auto-identify and merge those, or if there's a level of confidence that we're not exactly sure about, we'll warn you to merge them manually and review them. Okay. Something else coming up, hopefully in the next week or two, is KBA signatures. So we have e-signatures live. It's been live for about a month with Adobe Sign. Now soon, this next month, in November, you'll have the ability to do KBA signatures through Adobe Sign as well. Shannon, you mentioned the ability to create clients on the fly as you're creating projects. We have that on the roadmap. I don't know, we don't have it exactly on a timeline of when we would create that. So KBA signatures, detecting and merging duplicate clients. This next one I'm really excited about. Let's see. Dependencies based off client tasks, not projects. Jody, we are looking at the ability to potentially add dependencies for client tasks. Kathy, we do have it. It's pretty high on our priority. It's just really figuring it out. Still kind of working through the mechanics of it, of being able to create a project that's not for a client, right? Or related to a client. And it's just more like a to-do, right? That is something we are working on, like one-off tasks. So I want to talk about something we're going to be releasing this month in November. I think it's really exciting. It's a high priority because we've had a lot of requests for it. And that is better branding for client notifications and for the client portal. So soon you will have the ability here, not just to, didn't mean to do that, not just to display your firm name, but your firm logo. That's the first thing. So like on your client requests, the emails triggered by task, it'll show the actual logo in this email for your firm versus just the firm name. The other thing is on the actual client portal itself. You have the ability to change colors, customize the URL, and when I say colors, it's the colors of the buttons and the links. So for example, let me show you. Pull up some of the examples we have. Okay. So inside Financial Sense, I'm going to share my screen. Stop share, resume share. So inside financial and the company settings, you're going to see something for client portal branding when this is released. You'll be able, ignore this part, but you'll be able to type in like your firm name to change the URL. So it's not like a total FC URL, and you can change the color. So it's very simple. Change the URL, change the color of the portal, right? And the buttons, the links, and text. So when you update that, what's then going to happen is on the portal. So let's say they're accessing the portal from the link where they can access it from your website or a button or your email signature, right? It would then show, your firm's name in the URL. The color we changed to blue is now blue instead of green, and your logo will be displayed here for the firm. And then all the links will also be the firm color as well versus the green. Then when they access the portal, as you can see, the logo remains and the coloring of all the buttons matches the firm branding. And one more. As you can see here, the links are all the firm's colors as well as the buttons. So this is something we're working on that we've been really excited about to share. Just giving you guys the ability to customize the client experience from the URL to the colors to the whole client experience in the portal. Because especially as we're releasing more functionality in the portal, we want to give you guys the ability to do that. Chris, that is on the roadmap to have a client task dependent on an internal task. Branding should be released this month. So that is all coming. Everything I just talked about should be released this month. Now, one other thing I want to mention is this month should be the month. If it's not this month, it'll be early December. We will be releasing the folder sharing, right? So the ability to share folders with your clients so they can actually like access those folders, or they can upload documents that's not related to a client task or a project, or they can view old documents, old bookkeeping statements, old tax statements, realistically a full client portal. If you haven't already seen this, it's gonna look something like this, right? So the portal is gonna change where you'll see requests, which is the client tasks, and you'll see documents. And when you click the documents, they'll be able to see folders. These folders will be shared from the client profile, right? So if you're inside Financial Sense and a client, you have the ability to share this folder with the client. And then now that folder will be displayed in the document section for that client to view, upload documents. You can control the permissions. Now, one question I have is, you don't want to have to go and manually share all folders for all clients, right? So I'm wondering if by default, we should already have a folder structure that's viewable to the clients. Maybe it's called client uploads. Maybe it's the current year, 2023. That's what I want to ask you guys. Should there be a default folder? If so, is client uploads fine? Or do you want the years? Or is there a certain sub folder structure that should be on the client and automatically viewable for the client inside the document section of the portal? You will be able to create your own, right? But I guess what I'm wondering is, should we have one by default that can be removed or customized? The folder sharing will be available in the team plan. So this is not part of the scale plan. Viewable to the client. So a lot of people are saying they would like defaults, right? And if you don't want the defaults, you can remove them or customize them. But I just want to confirm, is client uploads okay? And you will be able Okay, perfect. This is really great feedback in real time. I love this. You will be able to tell which ones are being shared. We will have a way to be able to see. How we're thinking about it now is there will be like an icon, like maybe an eye icon next to the folder, so you can see which ones are being shared. Good. Perfect. Okay. So that again, the folder sharing, I know we've all been waiting for it, and I'm really excited about it because we'll also have the branding, right? So you can brand the portal, you can now not just do requests, but document management, file sharing, all within one portal, right? Hopefully that should be available this month. If it doesn't come out this month, it will be early December. But we are very close to finishing it up. We've done a lot of the back end work. We're just now finishing up the UI to make sure it's still easy to use for you guys and your clients. Um, while I have you guys here, I do want to float something by you guys. It's an idea we recently came across, and I wanted to see if this would be valuable. So, real quick, drop it in the chat. Do you guys use like Google Sheets and Google Docs a lot, or do you still use a lot of Word docs and Excel docs? And if you do use Word docs and Excel docs, do you use the online version? Okay, both. But are you guys using the online versions, or are you guys using the like desktop versions? Word, Excel, online, both, both. Okay, a lot of okay. So I saw something. Let me pause real quick that I thought was really interesting, and I want to know if this would be valuable potentially in financial sense. It's something we're exploring. So I'm going to share my screen. So Dropbox has this. And here you can see the ability to create. So like maybe you want to like you can, in our, let's say we have our portal, like our document management system, you can upload documents, but you also have the ability to create a Google Doc or like an online Word doc, right? So let's say I create a Google Doc, name it, it creates the Google Doc then automatically linked to your Google account. But now in our system, it's displayed and stored in that folder you created it. And so it's like uploading a document, but it's also like having the Google Docs integrated and be able to create them, let's say in our like when you were in here, right? Maybe you want to create a Google Doc that's stored here in that folder, right? Is that something that you guys think would be valuable? And you can not just do it with Google Docs, you can do it with Google Sheets, you can do it with Google Slides, and there's the ability to do it with Word actually as well, like the online versions. Let's see what people are saying. That would be helpful for the team. The reason I ask is because I know a lot of people still use a desktop, but would this be, okay, so most start from templates. Okay, it looks like there's just a few people. Would anyone else find that valuable? The ability to create Google Docs and have them stored in the folders automatically. This goes for Google Sheets, Google Presentations, and even online. Okay, some notes. Okay, just interesting thing. We are going to be just exploring and talking with more customers about it, but it's early phases of discussions. Something we thought was pretty interesting and wondering if it'd be helpful. But that is it, right? So that was just, it's good to sit down with you guys, cover some of the features we just released. I got some really good feedback also about what's coming up this month, and I hope you guys are excited. We are. There's a lot of exciting features we're releasing this year to give you guys a lot more value, not just on the scale plan, but also the team plan, especially with the folder sharing. Let's see, we have one more question. Can specific client tasks be assigned to specific clients instead of all clients? Chris, this is something we are looking at, and it's something we may be able to add soon with our new design for client tasks. You guys will probably be seeing that, but it probably won't be this year, but we're looking at doing something like that for next year. Kathy, the meeting notes section in projects, are you wanting that in projects? Or you want it, because we have that on the client profile. So I would go to your notes section, Kathy, uh, inside the client profile, there's a place where you can put meeting notes. If that is lacking functionality, please let me know or reach out to our team and provide us that feedback on how we can improve it. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us this month. Be sure to join us next month, because next month there's definitely going to be a lot of exciting features to talk about, especially if we get folder sharing out in time. But if I didn't answer any questions or if I missed them, please feel free to reach out to our team or myself, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Until then, I'll see you guys next month. And if you're going to be at QuickBooks Connect, we will be there. So be sure to stop by our booth. Take care, everyone.